February is Heart Month, and it's a time to take special note of the organ that keeps our bodies alive and the medical professionals tasked with treating it.
Tonight, KTIV's Katie Koppel introduces us to a Siouxland man who met his heart doctor just in the nick of time.
After I got back out of the surgery, I woke up and I thought, wow, I can breathe again. I didn't realize how compromised everything was.
Alan Kruger got a life-changing diagnosis a few weeks ago, and days later, a life-saving surgery when Dr. Akash Shah put a pacemaker in his chest.
I was actually on call in the middle of January. I was here late at the hospital as usual and just, catching up on work. I got a notification about Mr. Kruger's device having about 7,700 episodes of heart block.
Mr. Kruger had been wearing a heart monitor for 2 weeks after a variety of symptoms raised alarm bells for his primary care doctor. That heart monitor would show his heart was beating into dangerous territory.
Complete heart block is a life-threatening emergency and requires prompt medical care because patients can have unreliable escape rhythms. Basically, that conduction superhighway of the heart is blocked. If at any point that goes away, you're without a heartbeat. And if you're without a heartbeat for however long, you can pass out, you can die.
Kruger had felt off for a while. Shortness of breath, dizziness.
Yeah, you got getting up out of a chair and walk out to the refrigerator, get something to drink, and come back and you're exhausted.
Dr. Shah called Kruger, told him to get to Unity Point Health immediately. After a few more tests, he was told he needed a pacemaker.
So the next day, I planned for him a special type of pacemaker, dual chamber pacemaker. So put 2 pacemaker wires in, one in the right upper chamber of the heart called the right atrium, one in the right bottom chamber of the heart called the right ventricle.
This special pacemaker tapping into his heart's own beat.
The pacing result that he gets would be as good as his own heartbeat on its own. It's almost like tricking the heart that you're tapping into its own potential.
His heart beating with new life.
And so we got the pacemaker in. Instantly, he tells me in the recovery suite afterwards that he feels a significant difference.
No, I was not out of breath once. It was like, wow, I'm like a new person.
Kruger was home the very next day, his pacemaker helping his heart beat in rhythm, doing things he wasn't sure he'd do comfortably again.
Biking, I like to ride bicycle, and just doing run-of-the-mill things around the house. Going up and downstairs was another real trying part.
For Dr. Shah, it's all about changing his patients' lives for the better.
To me, this is the reason why I got into this field. I'm passionate about heart rhythm care. I love what I do, and these advanced procedures make a real impact on patients. And to have a situation where you're able to impact somebody like that, there's no better reward.
And for Kruger, he's enjoying his second wind, one heartbeat at a time.
Oh, yeah, 110% change. There's no other word except wow times 1,000. There's no other word I can come up with.
In Sioux City, Katie Koppel, KTIV News 4.
Kruger said his recovery after his surgery was pretty easy. The pacemaker sits just under his skin on the left side of his chest, and aside from needing to let airport security know that he has a pacemaker before going through TSA, he can live a relatively normal life with that device.